to talk with our goalkeepers here. So thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll do Drew. Yep. Go ahead.
All right. Well, thanks, Jack. I appreciate that. And thank you all for joining me. Friday night, another Zoom call. I'm sure you guys are all pumped. I'm sure you don't, if you don't, or you're not familiar with Zoom, maybe you'll get familiar tonight because I'm sure you haven't been on Zoom calls like all year. But I'm going to try my best to keep this interactive, keep it fun. And, in sport, the mental side is so big, such a big proponent of what we do and how we can be successful, but it really hasn't been something that we focused on in terms of how can we get better. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're going to talk about confidence and focus and then how they're interrelated. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. All right, so like Jack said, so I have a master's degree in sports psychology. I am a mental coach. But before I do too much of my background, I just want to see, we're going to try a little something out tonight to keep this thing interactive. So I want you all to pull your phones out, and I want you to text to the number 22333. Text Drew Morgan 622. So directions up there at the top. And then answer the question. Do you know what a mental coach does? Yep. Meh, kind of, or no idea. Just kind of getting the idea of what we're working with here. Got some no clues, some mess. Okay. Hey, we got one, at least one, yep. Okay. I'm glad this thing is working. Okay, good. We're gonna have some more of these, so keep your phone kind of nearby. Kind of a mix. More yups than I thought. That's good. Okay. What is a mental coach? So, my background, I was an athlete growing up. I played some soccer, especially in my youth days. I had a big leg, wasn't very fast, but did all right. But really, I went to college to play baseball. And that's really when I started learning a little bit more about the mental side. Then finished up my undergraduate degree in psychology, got my master's degree in sports psychology, been working with professional, youth, high school athletes since then. And so really what I do is I am not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I don't put you on the couch and talk about feelings all day, although that is a part of it, I'm not gonna lie. I think of myself more as a personal trainer or strength and conditioning coach for your mind. So we know that the mind is important. I think any athlete will tell you that a lot of their sport is mental, but it really hasn't been until recently that we've known enough about psychology to be able to train it. So psychology historically has been, there's something wrong with you. Let's cover up that thing, whatever's wrong with you. But now we know there's a lot we can train to make you better. So the best in the world right now are training their mind just like they train their body. And that's what I do. So really what we focus on is mental skills. And so that can be anything from, working on your confidence, working on your focus, how to be more motivated, how to bounce back after a mistake, a big goal you just let in, how do you bounce back and reset? There's a wealth of things here on the mental side that we teach in terms of these mental skills. My overarching philosophy is right here. And essentially it's this. We don't want to let the situation we're in dictate our performance. So no matter if it's the 88th minute and you got a corner kick and it's a tie game and you got to make a save, you should show up that way, just like you do if it's 5-0 and it's playing against a bad team. It's really not anything. So the way we do that is by controlling our thoughts, what we're thinking, our emotions, and our physiology, what's going on in our body. So we have to control what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what we're doing. If we do that, then our performance is going to be consistent. So we don't let the situation dictate our performance. Make sense? So I want y'all, if you have any questions at any point in this, throw them up in the chat box, interrupt me, whatever. I really want this to be interactive, so I'm going to be asking some questions. And I encourage you guys to speak up and you know, participate in that way. All right. So tonight we're talking about confidence and focus, and we're going to talk about how they're intertwined. So it's often not very apparent how they might be connected, but they very much are. And so I want to start with going back, pull out your phones. And in one word, without using the word confident, how would you describe being confident? What is that like? Also appreciate you all having your video on. Super helpful. Self-belief, say feeling yourself, maybe feeling good. This is kind of all janky, isn't it? Certain, good, assured. Good, feeling, belief, positive, assertive. Ooh, I like that one. Certain, positive. Resilience, nice. Wish this wasn't all janky. Sorry about that. Believe, I like that. Does anybody want to, anybody brave enough to pop on and kind of describe what they mean about their word?
Okay, so I didn't read it correctly. So I did a little sentence, that's probably why it's messed up. But I said feeling good about yourself. So that can like push you to do things you wouldn't think you would normally do, I guess, like drive you to do things.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Gwen. I appreciate that. Absolutely.
I said like self-belief, like believing in yourself, like being like knowing that you can like perform to the ability you have to.
Yeah, thank you, Alexa. Absolutely. Anybody else? Okay, no worries. So hold on to that word, keep that word close, but let's do another one. How do you describe not being confident? What's that like in one word? Insecure, unsure, timid. Timid, that's a good one. Small, ooh. Negative feeling. Doubtful, useless. Not thinking positively, self-doubting, disbelief. Fail. Some strong words in here. Scared. Ooh, that's a good one. Anybody want to describe what they put up? Or better yet, anybody want to describe to me a time that often they don't feel confident?
For me, I put defeated. I don't know why it's not showing up, but whenever like I get a goal scored on me or I make a mistake and like play the ball to the other team, I like get really down on myself and kind of like lose confidence.
Oops. Thank you, Amelia. I appreciate that. I'm sorry this just got. Yeah, I can imagine. I've never been a goalkeeper, although I think I would have made a good goalkeeper. I'm just going to say that. But I can imagine letting up a goal. That is pretty tough, and that could be a big blow to your confidence. Anybody else want to describe their word?
I put scared. Oh, I put scared because like sometimes if there's like a breakaway or if it's a corner kick, I get like a little scared that like they're gonna score and that like it's hard to play well when you feel like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Amy. Addison, I think you were going to say something. Do you want to pop on?
Yeah, I said unsure because there are like situations where something like I have to like, I don't know, like make a save like a penalty kick or something, and it's like unsure of myself, and like that's what I feel like the opposite of confidence.
Unsure. Yeah, it's a really good one. Thank you. Anybody else before we move on? Okay. All right, so now we're going to do a little activity. I just need to get to the chat box. And I'm going to throw up a link in the chat box. So if y'all can go to that link, if you're on a phone, it should work as well. But what you're going to do, what you're going to see is you're going to see a big grid of numbers. And I want everybody to pull it up, and then we're going to start together. And what your task is going to be is you have to find the number 00, and you have to find 01, 02, 03, and so on. It's going to be a random jumbled number of numbers. And you just got to click on them before you can go to the next one. And you got to see how many numbers you can find in 1 minute. So I'm going to give you a second to pull that up. Oh, you know what? I might have that link working for you guys.
No, it took, for me at least, it took me to like a website where you can like download an app.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't
Make your
download an app. Sorry. Here, I'm going to give you guys a new link. Sorry about that. There you go. So that one you should pull up, and then it should just have a red button that says start. Does everybody see that?
Yeah, that link works,
Yeah,
Drew.
we got that one.
Okay, good. All right. Does everybody have that? Okay. So when I say start, we're going to go for 1 minute. Losers have to sing us a song. Just kidding. I'm not going to make you do that. 3, 2, 1, go. Hurry up, clock is ticking. Ooh, Lillian, I can see you're struggling. I can tell. Hurry up. Avery, ooh, you struggling for sure. Come on. Where you at? Aaron, let's go, pick it up. KDH, let's go. I see you're going slow. Over halfway there. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Let's go, let's go, let's go. 15 seconds left. Come on. Nadia, where you at? Come on, let's go. 10 seconds. Hurry up. Let's go. Let's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. All right. Pop what you got to in the chat box. Be honest. Be honest now. 5, Gwen. Ooh, okay. 8, 2, 11, 18. Oh, now. All right, good work. 12, Bobby. Well done, Bobby. Jack got pulling a 0 in. Nice.
Jack's still trying to find the link. So
all right. So tell me before we get into this, anybody want to describe, anybody struggle with it? Did anybody like lose confidence at any point during it?
I didn't lose confidence, but I struggled with it.
Okay.
I struggled at first. I couldn't find the 00 on my page.
Me too.
It was
And,
really easy for me to find the 00 and then the 1, and then it took me forever to find 2.
And how was it with me chirping? Anybody, when I called you out, did that rattle you at all?
If anything, I would say it made me try harder.
Nice.
I muted you, Drew, and I just went solo.
Oh, okay. Smart. If only you could mute people in real life.
Yeah, I'm sure our players think that all the time.
So, all right, so let's talk about this. Let me get back to sharing my screen. So I bet some of y'all can relate that you probably got stuck on a certain number at some point and you were like, where is 5? I can't find 5. Why can't I find number 5? Like, where is it? Come on, what are you doing? Right? And so it's important to think about, where was your focus supposed to be for this task? And so that's what we're going to talk about for a second, is your direction of focus. So you can focus the direction. Let's think about our focus as a flashlight, okay? And we can shine that flashlight either externally, like out in our environment around us. That's what our senses do, smell, sight, sense of touch. That's us directing our focus outward. Or we can direct our focus inward. And that's when we focus on our thoughts. So on this task, where do you think your focus needed to be to do really well? Internal or external?
External.
Bingo. And when you were struggling, where did your focus go?
Internal.
Zoop. Yeah, internal. It's like, where's 5? I can't find 5. Where is it? When you're playing really well, when your confidence is super high, you're just like humming along, where do you think your focus is?
External.
You're not really thinking a whole lot, right? You're just kind of reacting. You're just just playing. You're just being an athlete. But when you're struggling, you'll maybe let a couple goals go by. You start questioning yourself, right? You start thinking, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? Where's number 5? Yeah. So knowing where your focus is at any given time is important. And there are times, I'm sure, as a goalkeeper, that you have to have an internal focus. When would be a time for y'all that you need to be thinking and planning? Help me out, because I'm not a goalkeeper.
Maybe setting up a wall for a free kick, like how many players in the wall.
Yeah, nice, Lexi. Good. What else?
When you're kind of watching the game and to like the other side of the field, you have to start thinking about like what you can tell your players and what's going to happen if they get the ball.
Absolutely. Nice. Thanks, Amy.
Also, where your set positions, like where on the field you need to be in order to be useful, and like what your position, like your body position looks like.
Good. And when would you be thinking that?
Always.
Okay. Okay, good. So that is a good point in that we are constantly kind of going internal, external, internal, external. It's not like we're always one or the other. However, it's really important to know when is it time to think and when is it time to perform. So we already kind of talked about that, but it's usually when you're confident, it's external. So then let's talk a little bit more about when you're not confident, what happens? So focus becomes internal. We talked about that a little bit. You start to question yourself, hesitate, you doubt yourself. This is another one, is that you focus more on the outcome. So when we're losing confidence, we start to think more about the outcome in terms of what if they score another goal? What if we lose? You start thinking more about the result instead of the process. We're going to talk a little bit more about the process here in a second because it's critical. It's funny that someone said small when they had lack of confidence because your body language literally becomes small. When you're lacking confidence, you kind of go like this, and you literally get a little bit smaller. When you're confident, you're bigger, you're more spread out, you're like chest is up, you got a swag about you. And the biggest thing is you stop trusting yourself. And what I often say is that confidence and trust are the same thing. Because if you trust yourself, you have confidence. But when you don't trust yourself, you start questioning, that's when confidence goes. Does anybody have anything else that they would add to this list?
You start to like, I guess, feel bad for like other people, like you're disappointing others.
That's probably a big one for goalkeepers, I would think. Thank you, Glenn. Yeah.
I think it's very easy to get into negative thoughts. So the thinking process becomes more negative as opposed to having a positive outlook.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Jack.
I think it's really easy when you like make a mistake like early on in the game to like get in a bad mindset for like the rest of the game, and then you like play really bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel
So an
like
early
you remove
mistake can.
yourself-
Sorry, did someone say that?
You remove yourself from the situation, so you like don't, like in soccer, you don't ask for the ball back as much or something if you do something to lose confidence early on in the game.
Sorry, you remove yourself, like you don't ask for the ball back. So
If you do something early on in the game to like lose confidence.
yeah, it's almost like I don't want the ball. Don't pass it to me. Don't pass it back. Yeah, I remember in baseball when I was playing baseball, I played third base, and times when I wasn't confident, I'd be sitting there hoping the ball wasn't hit to me. It's like, don't hit the ball to me. Don't hit the ball to me. And then the ball would always get hit to me. It seemed like. Okay, so that's what happens when we lose confidence. So now what? Now, how do we get it back? How do we become confident? And so what I always say is that confidence is a verb. Confidence isn't something you want to wait to happen to you. You don't want to wait to make a great save to be confident. You want to act on confidence. You want to bring it. You want to do it. And so let's talk about some ways that you can do it. You can be confident. Number one thing, the most important thing and this is what all the research, all the literature will support, is that first starts in your mind with your thoughts. If you're not thinking productively, and I want to highlight the word productive instead of positive, you're setting yourself up for failure. So I say, and a lot of people in my field will say productive thoughts instead of positive, because you could have a kind of a negative thought that is still helpful. You know, it's like you could have a thought of like, Drew, come on, you got to step it up. Let's go. Like, that's unacceptable. It's not maybe positive, but for me, that would be productive. It's motivating. So the challenge with thinking is that and positive thoughts or productive thoughts is finding particular thoughts that resonate with you, that you really believe. So it's not, you know, just sunshine and rainbows and like think positive, you're going to do great. Like, oh, I'm the best goalkeeper in the planet, or like, I'm going to save everything that comes to me. Like, if you don't believe it, it's not going to work. So identify, like, before you get into a game, some productive thoughts that you know to be true about yourself, or you can believe to be true. Does that make sense? Because negative thoughts are always going to pop into our mind. It's going to happen. We need to have an arsenal of productive or positive thoughts that we can then use in those moments and turn to and remind ourselves, I've been working so super hard. I know I can do this because I've been working hard. I've done this in practice before. It's like I've made an amazing save last week. Like, whatever you got to do, have some productive thoughts you can turn to. Number one thing. Second is, we talked a little bit about when you're not confident, typically you start focusing more on the outcome, start focusing more on, you know, what the score is, or the goals you didn't save, all the outcome things. What do you got to focus on to make sure that you play well? So what is it in your technique? What is it where do you need to set yourself up? How do you need to be communicating to your defense? Those are the little things that are the process that gets you to performing well. And so what we like to create is called process goals. And if you guys are taking notes, I want you to write process goals down. It's probably the number one thing I work on with my athletes is process goals. Because typically we go in with goals based on outcomes. Like, I want to save this amount of shots, or, you know, I want to do this or that it reflects on the stat sheet. Those are outcomes. What do you have to do to get you there? That's what we want to focus on. And that's what we want to base our success and failure on. Does that make sense? Jack or Bobby, maybe you could help me out here. Like, what would be something that you would want your goalkeepers to be focused on during a game, you know, either technique-wise or communicating, something they can control?
Yeah, so, you know, one of the things we've kind of been pushing as of late is being able to read the game or read situations in the game, because then that dictates what your next action or what your performance needs to be. So obviously there's other factors, you know, corner kicks, diving, saves, through ball, but one of the biggest things is just the ability to focus and being able to read situations, or at least understand and recognize and be comfortable with what's happening in front of them.
Yeah, so I mean, sure, it's very situational, especially for goalkeepers. Yeah. So it could be that if you know particularly that you struggle with one-on-ones, it could be a process goal could be on one-on-ones, I want to be super aggressive. It's like on any one-on-ones, I want to make sure I'm super aggressive. So what it is for you, these are all going to be different for you, but making sure that you have goals based off of what you can control. Those are process goals. Second is, we know that when we start not feeling confident, we get too internal. Good way to do that is get more external. Focus on what's out in front of you. Be a leader, you know, communicate, start talking more, you know, talking more to your defense. It's probably the best way to getting your focus more external is just by communicating. Also, just like find 5 things that are red in your environment. You know, find 5 things that are blue. You know, literally just finding things in your environment that are external to get yourself out of your head. Body language, like I talked about earlier, is like when we're not confident, we get small. Reverse is when we're confident, we get big. And, you know, our chest is out, we're holding our head up, we're like walking around with some swag, like, you know, feel that. And that comes back to also your thoughts, is that when you are projecting confidence, you're going to think more confidently. And when you think more confidently, you're going to project more confidence. So it's a cycle. They feed off one another. So use those in tandem. I talk about arrogant thoughts. Be arrogant in your mind. Don't be necessarily arrogant outward. I don't love that, but be arrogant in your mind. Nobody has to know. And then this is a kind of a more practical thing that I like my athletes to do after games or after their performance or practice, is just have like a dedicated notebook of your highlights. And these don't have to be big highlights, but after each game, what are, you know, 1 to 5 things that you did well? And just write those down. And then by the end of the season, you got a notebook of all of these great things that you've accomplished. Because one thing that we know is there's this thing called the negativity bias. And that is where we are, all of us are predisposed to see the negative and weigh that more heavily than the positive. So in a game, you might have had like 5 great saves, 1 slips by. Most likely, you're going to be hanging on to that one goal you let up and overlooking all those great things you did. So we have to counteract that by really paying attention to the things that we do well. Make sense? Questions about this? Any of this? Cool. So I want you all to think for a second and, you know, what is, text in, like, what is one productive thought or phrase you could have? And I like these to be short and sweet. So if you can keep them to 3, 4 words, be awesome. Love it. Stay focused. That's good. Good. You got this. Yep. Nice. Ooh, I like pay attention to one thing only. Yep. Pick it up. Good. So a lot of these are commands, right? Like a lot of these are motivational, what we call motivational self-talk. Like, I keep doing that. Sorry. So what we call motivational self-talk, in that, you know, keep your head up, pay attention to one thing only, brush it off, pick it up. Those are, you're telling yourself to do things. Those are commands, which are fine. If those work for you, go for it. But we also want to remind ourselves why it's okay. It's like, I've been working really hard. I know I can do this because I've done it before. You know, reminding yourself of times that you've been successful or why you will be successful moving forward can be a little bit more impactful than just, you got this. That said, everyone's different. What resonates with you, you do that. Be confident. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's do the number grid again. So y'all should have the link. This time, you guys know that your focus should be external. So once those negative thoughts start popping up, once the chatter in your mind becomes a little bit louder, I want you to block that out and refocus on the external, refocus on those numbers. All right, on your marks. This time, what would be a good thing to play for here? How about, I would say singing, but how about 5 burpees? Whoever loses, top 2 losers have to do 5 burpees on camera. Get some stakes here. All right, on your marks, get set, go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Pick it up. Pick it up. Aaron, where you at? Hurry up, Aaron. Hurry up. Ooh, Sam, I see you. Come on. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Almost halfway there. Bobby, I see you. You got a little smile on your face. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Ooh, Hannah. Hurry up, Hannah. I think you're going slow, Hannah. 20 seconds. Come
Girls,
on,
I'm
Avery.
crushing this. You're going down, girls. I'm crushing this right now.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Gwen, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. I see you struggling over there. Come on. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. Okay. All right. Let's see it. What y'all got?
Rushed it.
Whoa, Amelia. Good stuff. Sam. Oh my. Some good news. I'm impressed. KDH.
All right, Sam. Whatever, girl.
Oh, KDH, and we're gonna do 2 lowest and Addison. Sorry, let's see some burpees.
My room's a mess right now.
It's all right. We won't judge you for your room. Just your burpees. Let's go. Come on, everybody, cheer her on. Come on, give her some encouragement. Come on,
yeah, let's
Addison, let's go. There we go. There we go.
Okay.
Katie, we don't have all night. Get this crap done. Let's go, girl.
There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, good work, good work.
She had to fix that hair first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have that problem. I can't relate.
That's a normal thing for her.
All right. So hopefully you all could see the difference at least between that internal and external focus and be able to switch it out a little bit more easily. Now this is a skill, just like a physical skill. This is something that takes practice. You got to work at it. It's not something that's going to necessarily be easy each time. So this is something you can practice throughout your day as well. There are many times when we're not confident, not just on the pitch. So anytime that you're not feeling confident, see what's going on in your mind, adjust those thoughts, see if you can't get more external as well. So a little recap here. Control the self-talk. Absolutely number one thing. Control what's going on in your mind. Those are your thoughts. You control them. Don't let the situation or anybody else dictate what you're thinking. Trust equals confidence. Trust yourself. You all, I'm sure, work extremely hard. You got great coaches. You know what you're doing. Let your body be an athlete. Trust it. Set those process goals. Know what you can control. Know what and know what you need to be focused on that you can control. So set those. Literally write them down before your game. Look at it before your game, and keep those in mind. And then keep that running highlight list. It's probably one of the best things. And then look at it before you go to a game. You know, build your confidence. You have to either build your confidence or maintain it. If you have high confidence, you still have to do things to maintain it. If yours low, you got to build it up. And then the last thing, like we've been talking about, just get out into the world. Get your focus out into the world, whether it's through what you're seeing, what you can hear, or just by vocalizing to your teammates. Okay, let's get some questions. Any thoughts, any questions, anything that wasn't clear? What do y'all think? Is there any specific time that you all could use one of these skills? Anybody know of a time that they struggled to be confident?
After a game that like you feel like you didn't do very well at, just like when you're on the way home, just kind of thinking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Thank you, Amy.
This isn't necessarily towards sports, but like say you had a bad day at school, and you didn't do so well on a test or something.
Yes, absolutely, Katie. And that can carry over into the game as well. So being able to flush that out and go to the next thing, you know, there's so much more to mental skills, and I wish, you know, I could just infuse it all into you right now. But forgetting what just happened and going into the next thing is a skill in and of itself. But yeah, being able to build and act confidently, like I said, confidence is a verb. Absolutely. Thank you, Katie. Anything else?
Like in practice, if you're doing something new or something you're not good at, like just remembering that it's practice and you're doing it to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And that can also be true in games as well, is remembering that mistakes lead to growth. Mistakes lead to improvement. And so reframing that in your mind as well.
If you make a mistake early on in like the game or in like the half you're playing, being able to like know you still have a full like 40 minutes ahead of you and being able to like pick it up from there.
Mm-hmm. Nice, Alexa. Yeah. And I think that is where being a leader really on your team becomes really important, is not letting your teammates even know that that affected you by continuing to be vocal, continuing to, you know, be the leader on your team, saying, my bad, but it's not going to happen again, showing that confidence. Good. Good. And so, you know, I think I also want to make a distinction that, you know, Amy, I think you brought up a good point that like after a bad game or something like that, we can dwell on it. This isn't about blocking out mistakes and just ignoring them. It's about using them as a way to improve. You know, it's like every mistake that we make, all of that is information that we can use to get better. So when in that car ride on the way home, it's only natural. You're going to feel bad. It's going to suck, and that's okay. But being able to overcome that with knowing that I'm just going to get better from it. So if y'all have any other questions or wanted to learn more about any of this stuff, that's my email address. You can also check me out on Instagram and Facebook at Mental Coach Morgan, my website as well. Thank you all for—
Drew, can you throw that in the chat? It's not in the, you don't have the screen up anymore.
Oh, I don't. My bad. Yes, I will.
I had a question for you, Drew. So
please.
As coaches, we have athletes that have different needs, different learning styles, different ways to work with them. For example, Nadia said that when you were kind of barking at us during the first concentration grid, it made her work harder. And she definitely is a player that appreciates when someone is on her because it makes her go. You know, she takes it as fuel, while others may take it as something detrimental and breaking their confidence. So, can you kind of just talk about that relationship between that and how we can help these athletes with that? Because they're all in different learning styles and different, I guess, things that make them tick. So.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But I think what you're saying is that a certain coaching style isn't going to necessarily relate to the different personalities on a team. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
So, I mean, as a coach, I think it is imperative, and I think you guys both do this, is knowing the personalities that you have on a team. And so you can't necessarily in the moment coach to each of those individual personalities, but there's something maybe you can do after or on the side. But really, it's somewhat on the player as well. And so players, this is also for you in that whatever instruction you're given and whatever tone it is it's your job to take the information as information. You know, certain coaches can be super hard yelling, like I've had them, like just in your face. But it's your job to just take the information and move forward. Bobby, it's hard for me to go in much detail. If you have any particular examples.
No, that's good. That's good. And I think it's important for the athletes here to understand that we have to work with them in different ways. You know, I think sometimes player A might say, well, you got on player B for that, but not me. And then, you know, well, we have to coach them a little bit differently. And so them understanding as well that different things, I'm like Nadia, I need somebody to like get on me. Like, I don't want it sugar coated. I don't want it so like, I don't need you to be nice to me. Like, tell me how it is, you know, and that's it, you know, while others need it a different way, and that's okay too.
Mhm.
So, but sometimes players take that as, well, you like them better, or, you know, you're treating them differently. So no, that's good. And my other thing for you, Drew, was we kind of talked to the girls at the beginning of this winter season about the increased importance of body language. Not with obviously you addressed it tonight with focus and confidence here, but just in general, and the importance of body language and how that affects your performance, as well as how it affects our viewpoint as coaches of what you're getting out of the session. And for some of these older student athletes, they're future college coaches, national team coaches, things like that, and how important body language is.
Yeah, I mean, it's critical. And there is a direct link to how you're using your body and what's going on in your mind. And listen, when you make a mistake, it's gonna suck and you're gonna feel bad about yourself. But ideally we want to just shorten that window. Like if you feel bad about yourself for 20 minutes, you know, we just want to shorten it to 15 and then to 10, 5, 4, 3. And then so that you feel bad about yourself, and then you can, you know, when I work with athletes, we develop a little routine, a resetting routine, so that, you know, you feel bad about it, you do something to reset yourself, refocus, and then you're back in the game. So it's okay to feel bad, is the point, but you got to be able to reset quickly.
No, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we'll look to wrap it up. So the biggest thing, just from my end, is communication and support. Okay, so you have a resource, Bobby, myself, and I think a lot of times, sometimes we want to get it out of our head, or we have a tough moment. You know, it could be just having, you know, communication with someone that can help guide you. Okay, so we all need it, whether we're a player or a coach, you know. So you know, that's the biggest things, to just communicate. And then our biggest takeaway we want you all to have tonight is there is a support for you, whether it's Bobby, myself, and then Drew had put up his information as well. Because just that one moment of communication can just shine a big light on what you can see moving forward. Okay, but you've all been fantastic tonight, Drew. That was awesome. I know the girls definitely had a big takeaway, and I'm sure Bobby did too. So that was really great stuff from you.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. And I forgot to mention, so the handout that I gave you all, it's a way to, it's my prep and reflect handout, whatever. So the prep portion is the process goals that we talked about. So you can set up to 3 process goals, and then it's a little box that says why I know I will succeed. So that is a good way to put in a sentence or phrase positive thought to stick in your mind before the game. And then after the game, it's a good way to just let that, reflect on it and have it be done. So you kind of have a box of what just happened, what went well, what didn't, and then what can I learn from it and move forward. So through that process, you can leave that game and move on to the next one.
Okay, cool.
Well, thank you, Jack. I appreciate it. Bob, all you guys, I really appreciate the participation, and you guys were really into it. Friday night, it's a lot to ask, so I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Drew.
Thank you, Duke. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right. See y'all.
Okay. Have a good night.